Coming up, the latest shark attack numbers are in, why Mote Marine Lab says Florida leads the world in bites. Plus, how a recent fire sparked a new law that will change where you can burn throughout Venice. A restaurant in Sarasota Southside Village getting a major makeover. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC 7 News at noon.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping our news today at noon, Sarasota police investigating an apparent drowning off of Lido Beach. It happened around 10 o'clock last night after reports of a man possibly lost in the Gulf of Mexico. Police say a man and a woman went swimming when they got caught in a rip current. The woman says she was swept away towards Big Pass, but she was not sure where the man went. It took her an hour to make it back to shore. The man's body was later found on the shoreline nearby. Investigators do not suspect any foul play. Due at noon, summer means more kids in the water at Suncoast beaches, and the latest shark attack numbers are out, and Florida leads the world with the number of attacks. ABC 7's Stephanie Webb breaks it all down for us now. Stephanie?
Thank you, Scott. Well, the good news, the number of shark attacks is actually down compared to 2016. And here on the Gulf Coast, you're really pretty safe overall. Now, the most recent attack in the state came at the end of May over on Cocoa Beach, where a 15-year-old boy was bitten on the leg by a 6-foot bull shark. Now, according to new numbers from the International Shark Attack File, the east coast of the state is where the majority of those attacks take place. Now, as for the numbers themselves, around the world, there were 88 shark attacks in 2017. 31 of those were here in Florida. 59% of those attacks were on surfers, 22% were on swimmers. Now, the most number of attacks took place between the months of June and September. Now, our risk is pretty low here on the Gulf Coast. Since the year 1882, there have only been 7 attacks in Sarasota County, 4 attacks in Manatee County, and a few more, 12, just north of us in Pinellas County. Now, over the years, it's bull sharks and blacktip sharks that have had the most number of attacks here in the state. So just what are the odds of getting attacked by a shark here? Well, let's put it this way. Your odds of getting in a car accident are 1 in 84. Getting hit by lightning, 1 in almost 80,000. And as for the odds of getting attacked by a shark, well, those odds are 1 in 3.7 million. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be careful around this time of the year. There are a few tips from Mote Marine. First, don't swim at twilight or during those night hours. Don't swim in water near fishermen or near bait fish. Don't swim with open wounds or cuts. And don't wear shiny jewelry in the water either. Sometimes the glint of like a watch or a bracelet can actually be similar to the scales of a fish. Obviously, the normal food of choice for sharks. And there you have it. Back to you, Scott.
Have fun in the Gulf today. All right. Thank you, Stephanie. A law in the city of Venice outlining when and where cooking fires are acceptable in public parks is moving forward. The change was requested by the fire department after a recent beach fire at Service Club Park in March. Now, nearly 70 feet of walkway was destroyed in that fire due to an illegal warming fire. The law says fires are prohibited in all parks, beaches, and recreational areas except for cooking fires using the city-approved grills and designated picnic areas between the hours of 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. The council will consider it next week. Northern Manatee County is growing quickly as 3 schools are set to open next year in Parrish, and now a new shopping center is on the way as well. Construction is underway at the site of the new Gateway Commons Shopping Center. It's a 33-acre site east of I-75 and south of Moccasin Wallow Road. The project's developer, Promerica Group 1 of Tampa, says Publix will anchor that shopping center. More stores are expected to fill the center's retail space and a hotel eventually. The Manatee County Chamber of Commerce says 225 of their clients are north of the Manatee River. North Manatee County eventually expected to become as busy as nearby Lakewood Ranch and downtown Bradenton.
It's going to be one of those communities that are growing, that have all those essential services in one space. We need to continue at this pace to make sure that we have the concurrent services along with those this growth.
Neighbors say a new Publix is much needed in the area. The closest grocery store right now is nearly 7 miles away. New developments about a popular Southside Village restaurant in Sarasota. Libby's Cafe and Bar will temporarily close for the next few months for some major remodeling, and that's not all. ABC 7's Ray Collins is just back from the restaurant and joins us now with the story. Ray?
Yeah, Scott, Libby's is sort of the anchor of Southside Village there on Osprey Avenue, along with Morton's Market across the street. The restaurant owners plan to close down in 2 weeks and reconfigure the layout. This morning, I talked to Joe Seidensticker, whose family owns it, and he said they also plan to reduce the size of the restaurant. He says they're going to wall off the northern end and lease out 2,000 square feet to a tenant, perhaps a yoga studio. In the meantime, some neighboring businesses are disappointed to lose some of the business that Libby's helps generate. Tandy Dixon, who manages the next-door Fifi's Fine Resale Apparel, says Libby's causes a lot of foot traffic for them.
It does, really, especially for us here at Fifi's. Whenever ladies come for brunch or they meet up with their girlfriends during the day, they kind of come here and shop afterwards. It's kind of like a let's get brunch and go shopping, girls' day kind of thing.
Well, that should resume soon enough. Libby's plans to reopen for their 10th anniversary in November. Scott?
All right, Ray, thank you. Let's check now with meteorologist John Scalzi. Great start to our week here on the Suncoast.
Can't complain, a little on the warm, muggy side, but summer's Thursday, so
Yeah. I think it's already here.
It's here, yeah. Full tilt boogie. We're looking at, again, a kind of hot, hazy, humid afternoon. We started off with a little bit of high cloudiness. Now we're building some of the lower cloudiness caused by heating of the day and some currents in the atmosphere. I think we'll probably see some showers around too from some of these clouds a little bit later on, but like yesterday, the timing of those showers will probably be later in the day and into the evening hours. Mostly along the coastline. We have a generally speaking, light easterly wind across the area, and that encourages the formation of showers near the coast. Right now, not a lot of action on radar. Statewide, we're not seeing a whole lot of action, but boy, back to the west in Gulf waters, we are seeing some major shower activity there. We could see maybe 10-inch rainfalls, and we'll talk about that coming up in a minute or two. Temperatures are going to be warm again today, no doubt about it. Feels like temperatures will probably crack the 100-degree mark with actual air temperatures in the lower 90s. We're at 88 in Sarasota, 88 in Bradenton. Venice coming in at 89, 87 in inland locations. And, you know, it's just going to be another warm, sticky day. In fact, the week will be kind of warm. We'll talk about that coming up in just a few. Scott?
All right, John, thanks. New details out of Washington today as the fiery immigration debate continues to heat up over the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy that's led to thousands of children being separated from their parents. ABC's Janae Norman explains how the issue has sparked demonstrations now across the country.
Right now, thousands are in custody. Many of them are innocent children caught up in the fight over undocumented immigrants.
We're duly elected members of Congress. We're entitled to come in and visit these prisoners.
7 congressmen demanded entry into a detention center as the fiery immigration debate rages on. The Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy of arresting undocumented immigrants and asylum seekers and separating them from their children for months, adding fuel to the fire.
Today, Father's Day, we spoke to fathers whose children have been ripped from their arms.
Images released by the Department of Homeland Security show fenced-in cells where men, women, and children are being held temporarily, some on bare floors.
I just don't think that this should be happening, and something has to be done.
As enforcement is beefed up along the border, some officials claim there is no policy to separate families despite 2,000 children already being taken.
Adults, if they are accompanied by a child, that child is temporarily separated from them as they go through a judicial process.
DHS Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen addressing what she calls misinformation in the media.
We cannot detain children with their parents, so we must either release both the parents and the children. This is the historic get-out-of-jail-free practice of the previous administration.
President Trump continues blaming Democrats, even though this is his policy. Some critics say Republicans are using the kids as bargaining chips to try to get funding for a border wall. But this policy is not law and could be changed by the administration without any help from Democrats. Janae Norman, ABC News, Washington.
And to follow the latest developments in that story and others here on the Suncoast, as well as your forecast, you can download our app. Just go to your app store and look for WWSB or My Suncoast. ABC 7 business commentator Richard Stern joins us now with a check of the day on Wall Street so far, and you know, kind of a lower opening for this new week on Wall Street.
Lower opening by a whole bunch. We were down by 264 points in about as long as it takes to say Scott Dennis, but we've recovered 100 from there. We're still down, but not nearly as much as we were. Yes, it's those darn tariffs. We keep talking about them, one day on, one day off, one country now, one country another. Well, guess what? That's what took the Dow down by 265 points at the start of the day. The Dow has now been down, if it closes there, down 5 consecutive days. But all in all, it's still been a pretty strong market. The bond market, the 10-year Treasury, is trading at less than 3%. And overall, things still look pretty darn good. So let's take a look at where we stand right this minute. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 166 points, 0.2% at 24,924.73. That on volume of 489 million shares. The NASDAQ, the strongest of the day, and that's down less than 0.1%, not even 5 points, at 7,741.64. That on volume of 791 million shares. And if those two are down, so is the S&P, down by 0.3%, not quite 8 points, at 2,771.67. Well, if you've wanted to own shares in BJ's Social Club, and oh, by the way, it's been a private wholesale club, pardon me, and it's been private since 2011, it's coming public again in the form of an IPO, an initial public offering. Pricing on the shares is between $15 and $17 a share. Altogether, that values the company at more than $2 billion. Of course, we have one right here on the Suncoast on Cooper Creek Boulevard. Altogether, there are 215 stores, most of them here in the eastern part of the country, and it will be listed on the New York Stock Exchange. And big surprise, the listing on the stock exchange will be under the symbol BJ, in case you couldn't have guessed that one.
Pretty easy to figure out, huh?
Exactly.
And, well, we've got a new tax law to talk about, and you've got a workshop to try to educate.
Yeah, we talked last week about the fact that we had a digest available. We had tremendous response to that. So we said, you know, maybe people want to just come in and talk about the changes in the tax law and the 5 myths about the tax law, one of which has to do with whether you can or cannot deduct your mortgage interest. The answer is yes and no. That's June 27th and 28th. Please send us an email, thesterngroup@rwbaird.com. Again, the Stern Group at rwbaird.com, or you can call our office, 941-906-2838. Should be answer some questions, solve those myths.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you so much, Richard.
You're welcome.
Still to come in your Suncoast News, why the World Health Organization is now classifying gaming addiction as a disease. And then later, why a boy's parents may be left to foot the bill for their son's $130,000 mistake involving a statue.
The ABC 7 Stock Report is sponsored by Sunset Cadillac.
My life motto is keep moving. And as hard as it was when my husband passed away, I knew I had to keep doing what I love. Oops, coming. But I needed help with my insurance, and that's what the NAIC provides. They have resources to help you and your family make the best decision, and they'll help you to keep moving forward, just like me.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Get to Sunset Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat in Sarasota for big savings during the Chrysler Pacifica Incredible Sales Event. Get KBB's 2017 Best Buy Award overall winner, the Chrysler Pacifica, for just $23,999. Or save big and get the new Chrysler 300 Touring with an MSRP over $30,000 for just $21,999. That's a savings of over $8,000. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat in Sarasota today.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Planning a Carnival Fantasy Cruise out of Mobile? Then check out the park and cruise packages at the luxurious Battle House and Renaissance Riverview Plaza hotels. Stay at the Battle House for $169 per night, or the Riverview Plaza for just $149 per night, and leave your car for the duration of your cruise. Includes transportation to and from the cruise terminal. If you're cruising out of Mobile, come stay with us. Call 1-800-MARRIOTT or visit Marriott.com now.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So the temperatures are climbing, and despite the fact that we have a fair amount of cloud cover out there, we're up to 88 degrees already, and there's no reason to think we won't get up into the lower 90s again today, maybe even some mid-90s in inland areas. 61% relative humidity, making it feel pretty sticky, in that east wind blowing at 7. Not a terribly strong east wind, but not insignificant either. It's certainly light enough that a sea breeze will form, but it's strong enough that it should keep that sea breeze pretty close to the coastline. By 3 p.m., I think we'll see a temperature of about 93 degrees. It'll be warm, it'll be humid. We'll have a feels-like temperature up over 100. So be sure and stay hydrated if you're going to be out of doors. And by the way, it's a good time to talk about it. Let's not forget our pets. Sometimes those surfaces, those road surfaces, especially dark ones, can get very hot. And we just don't know it because we have shoes on. But the poor pets, they don't have shoes. And so we have to pay attention to that as we walk them on our evening or afternoon strolls. 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms beginning inland and then kind of drifting back to the coastline, where I think they'll become larger storms as they exit out into Gulf waters and dissipate. We'll probably watch that dissipation occur around 7 to 10 o'clock tonight and then leave us with a pretty quiet overnight. Mostly sunny and dry otherwise. Titan radar quiet right now, but you can already see the effects of some of that easterly wind flow over on the other coast, picking up moisture and scooting it back in this direction. Lots of thunderstorm activity in the western Gulf, and it is this section that the Hurricane Center continues to monitor, but doesn't give it much of a chance for any kind of development. Basically, it's just going to be a rainmaker for that coast, producing as much as 10-inch rainfalls. For us, actually, I think our rain chances will be going down. Under the influence of that high-pressure ridge, drier air will be scooting in here, reducing our rain chances over the next several days. Plus, as that high sinks south, our winds shift more to a westerly direction, and that'll tend to take the focus of showers and push it toward the other coast. So a combination of those factors should yield less rainfall for the rest of the week. North wind switches to the east overnight after we have our little westerly sea breeze in the afternoon. And the forecast looks like this: warm and sticky for several days, lower rain chances, I think, starting as early as tomorrow. First day of summer comes Thursday morning, and it'll feel like it right straight through the rest of the week. Scott?
Okay, thank you, John. In HealthSmart, the World Health Organization is now classifying gaming addiction as a disease. The organization's director of the Department for Mental Health and Substance Abuse said the disorder concerns only a small percentage of people. WHO says the gaming disorder is characterized by an impaired control over gaming, an increasing priority given to gaming over other activities, and the continuation or escalation of gaming despite negative consequences. The disorder will be added to the group's 11th revision of the International Classification of Diseases. New numbers show obesity in Florida may be a bigger problem than researchers originally realized. The National Health Survey put the overall obesity rate of Floridians at almost 30% of the population. But now, a new study by the University of Florida suggests that number may be closer to 37%. Researchers also found it was more likely for women to be obese than men. Obesity can cause long-term health issues such as type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and certain cancers. Here in the Suncoast, surgeons at Sarasota Memorial Hospital are being ranked among the nation's top-performing hospitals for cardiac surgery. Consumer Reports put SMH among the top 18 out of 500 hospitals evaluated across the country, earning high marks for quality surgical outcomes and their high performance and survival rates. SMH also one of just 3 hospitals to earn the organization's highest 3-star rating in all 5 measured cardiac procedures. All right, let's head over to the kitchen and say hello to ABC7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher and find out what she's cooking for us on this Monday. Hi, Judy.
Well, hi there, Scott. Let's just have a continuation of Father's Day for you, okay, Scott? I'm making lemon meringue pie, so you get the first cut. My mom used to make lemon meringue pie all summer long. It was a real go-to. Of course, she used that mighty fine pudding that had that little gelatin ball, and that was my job to stir it till it dissolved. Today, we're going to make it homemade style, and it is trending and light and cool for this very hot weather. We'll be back to get started on our pie in just a few minutes.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
If you don't want to fall immediately into love, look away. If you don't want to awaken a desire for excellence, look away. If you don't want to be seduced, please look away.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean works on all CPAP machines and popular masks, destroying CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and in just minutes, voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398. Or visit SoClean.com today.
Meet Blue. Blue's not feeling well. The prescription? Generic medication. Blue wonders, do they really work as well as name brands? Yes, generics and name brand medications do work the same. Even though they may look different, generics have the same key ingredients. FDA approval is equally rigorous for generics to make sure they're as safe and effective as name brands. And Blue even saves some green, making him a little less, well, blue. Talk to your doctor about generics and visit fda.gov/generic drugs.
Hunger is a growing problem in our area, and a huge number of Suncoast residents are suffering in silence.
It could be your coworker,
your child's classmate,
or your friend fighting to secure their next meal. But you can help.
ABC7 is partnering with local organizations to help feed the Suncoast.
Go to mysuncoast.com/hunger to join the fight. Help us.
Help the hungry.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Caught on camera, parents could get stuck with a huge $132,000 bill after their son accidentally damaged a work of art. ABC's TJ Holmes has a surveillance video that shows a boy hugging the statue before it topples over.
This is the moment that could cost a Kansas family more than $100 grand. Sarah Goodman and her family were attending a wedding at a community center in Overland Park when her 5-year-old son goes in to hug a glass statue and it topples down on top of him.
He could have died.
But instead of an apology, the Goodmans got a bill for $132,000.
No one would ever expect to come into a place where kids are invited and have to worry about a $132,000 piece of art.
The center's insurance company sent the family a letter reading, "You are responsible for the supervision of a minor child. Your failure to monitor could be considered negligent."
I was surprised, more so offended to be called negligent. No one ever said, "Is your son okay?" He ran in fear. I cannot believe that they allowed something so dangerous to be where kids play.
Goodman says the Aphrodite to Kansas City wasn't secured, but the city says it shouldn't have been touched in the first place.
It's not an interactive piece. So when you have, somebody climbing on it, that's not what it's built for.
This is not the first time we've seen touchy-feely patrons send display art tumbling down. Just last year, a student knocked over 11 sculptures while taking a selfie at an LA museum. 3 of the sculptures were destroyed, totaling $200,000 in damages. The museum did not ask for payment, though.
TJ Holmes reporting there. A spokesperson for the city said the sculpture was never meant to be touched, and as of now, they are still expecting the parents to cover the cost of the repairs. Back to the kitchen now and check in again with Judy Gallagher, who is not cooking anything. She's baking us a delicious pie today.
That's right. Soon enough, it will be summer, a few more days. And in our tradition, excuse me, in New England, it's you start making lemon meringue pie, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to start with a shortbread crust. It's so easy. You're going to take 1 package of shortbread cookies, break them up with your hand, put them in your food processor, and then you're going to pulse some soft butter. Once that's pulsed together, let it go for about 3 minutes so it really blends well together. Then you're going to add, in fact, I'm going to take the lid off, make it a little bit easier here. We're going to add 1/2 cup sugar. We're going to add a little flour. That's going to bind it back together. The cookies are not going to be enough to bind it. So if we just do it like that, then I can show you. It comes out almost like a graham cracker crust. So you have the little pieces of butter that are going to melt in when you bake it. So you're just going to put it in your pie plate. You'll need to double the recipe if you want the crust to come all the way to the edge. I usually just go halfway up because I know the meringue's going to cover it. So you're going to bake that in a 350-degree oven until it's lightly brown and bubbly, and then you're going to cool it completely, so it's great to make it the night before. Then we're going to start on the actual lemon pudding filling, and it's not hard to make. You have 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. Then we have 3 tablespoons of flour. We have sugar, and we're going to just kind of whisk that together there. And then we're going to add 1.5 cups of cold water. The cold water is going to react with the cornstarch, and that's our thickening agent. So we're going to cook this for about, it's going to probably be about 5 minutes total. Keep whisking it. You're going to see it start to come up to temperature. We'll pull it off the burner. When we come back, I'll show you what else we do before we put the meringue on. It's really easy, and it's just so flavorful. You're going to love this pie. Make 2.
If you think it's hot outside, just wait until you see even hotter savings inside. Only at Rugs As Art Hot Summer Savings Sale event will you find the lowest prices on a vast selection of stunning rugs, furniture accents, and accessories. This special event only happens once a year, so hurry in before the best selections are gone. The Hot Summer Savings event ends soon, so don't miss out on the best prices ever. Rugs As Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
Get more for your money at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Subaru vehicles hold their value better than any other brand for 2018, according to ALG. And Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand for 4 years running. The Subaru Outback is an IIHS top safety pick for 10 years running. Lease a new Subaru Outback today for just $249 a month, or get 0% financing with 0 down. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Thanks to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, what was once impossible is happening today for thousands of patients with blood cancer.
I live.
I live. I live. I live.
I live.
She lives.
Because of the research done by the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in the battle against blood cancer.
If you had a chance to support the research that is saving lives, what would you do?
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Everything all right? Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery? Sure. We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Coming up, why rival gang fights led to 22 people being shot at the New Jersey Arts Festival. Plus, a deadly earthquake hits one of Japan's busiest cities where crews are now searching for survivors. And Senator Marco Rubio evaluates the erosion at Sarasota's Lido Beach. Those stories and more right now on your Suncoast News.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 12:30.
Welcome back. Our top story today at 12:30. Deadly chaos erupting at an arts festival in Trenton, New Jersey early Sunday morning. Multiple suspects opened fire, injuring 22 people. As ABC's Maggie Rulli reports, police believe it all started over an argument between neighborhoods.
Who's hit over there? This terrifying scene unfolding early Sunday morning. Panic and chaos at an all-night arts festival.
People just started running around like crazy and pushing and shoving, and then I heard the gunshots.
Police say numerous fights broke out in the crowd, and the event was on the verge of being shut down when around 2:45 a.m., gunfire breaks out. Anybody hit over here? Police say at least 2 suspects began shooting at each other, with festival goers caught in the middle.
This is really a tragedy, and this had nothing to do with the families that actually attended this event. We unfortunately have some misguided youth in our city, like they have in other cities. We have gangs, and this spilled over into Art All Night.
At least 22 are injured. The youngest victim, a 13-year-old boy. One of the alleged shooters, 32-year-old Tahij Wells, was shot and killed on the scene. Another, 23-year-old Amir Armstrong, is now in custody and facing charges. Local leaders are demanding action.
We need to work as a body to figure out what we can do to get more funding into this city so that we can have more youth programs.
The community here is promising not to give up. That congresswoman went on to say that she's already pushing to hold this event again next year. And in a statement, festival organizers say their dedication to building a better Trenton will never fade, not ever. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, Trenton, New Jersey.
A developing story out of western Japan where at least 3 people are dead, more than 200 others hurt after a strong earthquake earlier today. The magnitude 6.1 quake happened near Osaka, Japan. That's the country's second largest city. It shut down trains during the busy morning commute. 2 elderly men and a 9-year-old girl died from collapsing walls. New developments on Hawaii's Big Island. The Civil Defense has now officially increased the number of homes destroyed by the Kilauea volcano eruption. The tally now stands or exceeds 500 homes. As of this morning, lava continues to flow into a channel leading to the ocean. The Hawaiian Volcano Observatory says the ocean entry remains fairly broad, with more gases continuing to blow back on shore. And there's still a warning to residents there because of that. Volcanic gas emissions remain very high from all of the eruptions. Thankfully, more emergency help is headed to the island today. Members from the AmeriCorps teams are headed to the island from Mississippi. The group, which serves through FEMA, provides resource help to residents there, helps them also find temporary housing and assistance. The other important part of this mission, being responsible for relaying information back to FEMA on what help is most needed in that disaster area. Right now, lower Michigan has experienced record high temperatures, and heavy rain and flooding are hitting the upper peninsula of Michigan. More than 60 sinkholes and washouts were reported in the area after historic flooding over the weekend. Businesses and homes, even roads, were completely washed out.
The road by my parents' house was kind of caved in, and I saw a bunch of pictures on Facebook and live videos that Taco Bell the sign was down and that the whole valley between it was covered in water.
Majority of us can't even get home. Roads are collapsed, bridges are collapsed, roads are covered in water. Whatever roads aren't collapsed, it's depending whether or not how heavy a vehicle you drive.
Officials advising residents there to seek shelter, be on the lookout for any flash floods as rain is expected to continue through the week. Here on the Suncoast, the erosion crisis at Lido Beach attracting a surprise visitor over the weekend. Senator Marco Rubio of Florida walking Lido Beach, accompanied by Sarasota city officials. Just last week, Sarasota won approval of more than $13 million in federal funding for restoration efforts. Sarasota was one of 9 projects in Florida to receive funding from the Army Corps of Engineers. Rubio says the erosion on Lido is the worst he's ever seen in the state.
A third of economic activity here is driven by the beaches. If we don't get that fixed, people are going to stop coming. It's going to hurt property values, local businesses, and local government's revenues. So we were able to work with them to get a big project approved at the federal level. And now our job is, now that it's approved and the money's there, is just to get it down here as quickly as possible so they can get going on this project by late this year, early next year.
Army Corps of Engineers plans to dredge sand from Big Pass, a proposal that has long been opposed by Siesta Key residents, primarily due to concerns it could affect the shoreline to the south. Well, let's get a check now on our weather. No storms in the area to make that erosion any worse, because it's pretty bad already there.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Not right now, but it's a long season ahead, you know?
Yeah.
It only takes one storm.
Right. It
So
can take all that sand away, as we've seen.
And move those keys around.
Yep.
They're living, breathing things, you know? They change and evolve with time. So we're looking at quiet conditions today. As Scott mentioned, a few fair weather clouds beginning to build. Our tower cam here showing just the fair weather clouds out over Gulf waters, but clouds are a little thicker in inland areas. That'll be the first location that will see rainfall today. Right now, pretty quiet on radar. Don't expect to see much developing that soon, but out to the west, there's plenty of showery activity there. That really is not going to impact us. In fact, our weather dries out. This is the water vapor imagery, and it's instructive as to what we can expect over the next several days. The turquoise color, high moisture content air, starts out over the state of Florida, but then look at the tan. That's dry air, and it's headed our way. It's going to reduce our rain chances for the rest of the week. Temperatures across the region generally closing in on that 90-degree mark, and satellite view shows the clouds that we're building across the area. 30% chance of rain showers later today. Daytime high toasty, about 93 with a feels like of 100. Complete forecast coming up in a few, Scott.
John, thanks. Venice is looking to do more to keep people safe after several recent bicycle-related deaths in and around the city. Florida leads the nation when it comes to these fatalities for bicyclists. Sarasota County is the home of the Legacy Trail, which is a popular destination for bike riders. The area is considered safe, but some say the problem is need for wider sidewalks in other parts of Venice. The Venice City Council is meeting with a few weeks with the Sarasota Manatee Metropolitan Planning Organization to talk about a possible expansion. Efforts to restore shellfish to Sarasota Bay continuing over the weekend. Sarasota Bay Watch and Mote Marine Lab working together to release nearly 30,000 clams into the water. This project is possible thanks to efforts to improve the bay's water quality in recent years, something the Commissioner of Florida Fish and Wildlife says is a concern in a lot of the state's waterways.
We try to improve Florida's habitat as a whole. We have challenges associated with overfishing, commercial use of our wonderful resources, and we also have water quality issues. This addresses all three of those.
The president of Sarasota Bay Watch says the release should also help with future outbreaks of red tide. A Sarasota father and son sharing their experience of a python hunt in the Florida Everglades.
Okay, I see its head. Oh my God, its head. I can't even see its head anymore. It's completely. Oh my God, guys.
Sarasota resident Thomas Peltier and his 11-year-old son recently took part in a 3-day python hunt. Pythons are considered an invasive predator, causing all sorts of problems with the Everglades natural habitat. If you want to check out the rest of this video, you can go to our website, mysuncoast.com, and just look for this story. All right, let's get back to the kitchen now. Check in again with Judy Gallagher and the progress of her pie.
That's right, Scott. So you can see the base now is done for the lemon pie. So what we want to do before we add the lemon juice and the butter is we need to temper the egg yolks. If you were to just pour the egg yolks in, they would curdle and you'd have scrambled egg. Not what you want for a good lemon meringue pie. So real slowly, we're going to take that mixture, the cornstarch, the flour, the sugar, and the water that we brought to a low boil, and we're going to temper the eggs. So about half of the amount goes into the eggs, and then we'll put the eggs back in, but we'll pull that off the burner for a minute. Now the thing that you want to do is after we do all these steps, you put it back on the burner and you want to slowly get it to a teeny little boil, bring it off, then you're going to put it into your pie shell like I've done over here. But once the eggs go in, we're going to, that's it, it's going to be nice and smooth this way. Then we're going to add the fresh lemon juice. And it's just a little cloudy because that was the same container I had the cornstarch in, but it's all mixed in, so we're fine. And then, of course, zest of lemon. That really gives you that extra flavor. 2 tablespoons of butter that you're going to want to whisk in and melt down. That's all set. Then you're going to whip your meringues. 5 egg whites. So you have 3 already from the egg yolks. You set the other 2 egg yolks, put them in the refrigerator. You can use them for a Caesar salad or perhaps another recipe. So we're going to whip this, and you can either use cream of tartar, 1/8 of a teaspoon. If you don't, you can use just a tad of white wine vinegar and cornstarch, believe it or not, and that will help those peaks form. So this is all melted down. That looks great. We'll put it back on because I have, yes, a 3rd crust so everybody can have some. I'm going to turn this on. It's going to get a little loud, but I want you to see. We're going to whip the meringue until really you get strong peaks. Now there's 2 ways we can work with the egg whites. One is to put them right on top and bake it in the oven at 350 degrees till the meringue gets warm. The other is to fold the meringue in with the lemon, and that creates the lemon chiffon pie that I love so much. Either way, I think it's going to be delicious, and we'll come back in just a few minutes for the first bite.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do it yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
You want a Maserati, but you need an SUV. Why not have both? Levante, the Maserati of SUVs.
Experience it at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day?
With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189 now for a free, no-obligation quote. TruStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So currently, we have an 88-degree temperature, well on our way to hitting the 90 mark, no doubt about that. We have an east wind coming in at about 7. That east wind is going to take our sea breeze and hold it very close to the coastline. That's where the best chances of rain will be today. A lot of sunshine out there, but some fair weather clouds as well, and the humidity high enough that it'll give the feels-like temperature of over 100 once our air temperature hits the 90-degree mark. We'll continue with those warm temperatures for a prolonged period of time in many locations because there'll be no cooling rain for most folks today. Only about a 30% chance of showers. First of all, in inland areas, about a 30% chance, and then that chance will start to decline as the coastal rain chance begins to increase up to about 30% as we head into the 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock time frame through about, I'd say, 10 o'clock when those showers move out into Gulf waters. Then overnight tonight, pretty quiet. We still have a red tide problem, and a red tide beach advisory has just been issued by the Weather Service for our area. These are samples that are taken by beach spotters, Mote Marine beach spotters, who sample the air quality at the various beaches and base their observations on a subjective determination of how much irritant they experience in the air. And so consequently, Lido and Siesta Key have moderate to low amounts of irritant, and beaches to the south have moderate to, even in some cases, high amounts of irritant in the air. And that kind of corresponds to what the water samples indicate as well in terms of red tide concentrations in the water. So obviously we have a problem here, and the beach advisory states that over the course of the next several days, there's certainly that possibility of experiencing respiratory distress or respiratory irritation, I should say, if you go to one of those beaches. So we'll watch. The University of South Florida's beach drift, red tide drift reports signal that over the course of the next several days, the general drift of that red tide will be to the north and to the west, in basically paralleling our coastline. Right now, Titan radar pretty quiet. As we head into the afternoon, we'll see. I think we'll probably pick up a few showers around. East wind coming in at about 10 knots through the afternoon, switching a little bit more northeast as we head into the overnight once our sea breeze forms. Forecast calls for 93 today, and temperatures warm for the next several days with little chance of rain. Don't forget, summer comes our way on Thursday. You'll know it too. Temperatures will be warm right straight through the period. A little bit better rain chances on the weekend. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. In consumer news, salmonella outbreaks across the country being linked to a popular cereal and pre-cut melons. Dozens of people in several states have gone to the hospital after eating Honey Smacks cereal, which is tainted with salmonella. The CDC says more than 70 people have gotten sick in 31 states, none here in Florida. The FDA is advising to discard and not eat any of that cereal regardless of size or best by dates. On top of that, the salmonella outbreak linked to pre-cut melons is growing, spreading now to 23 states, including Florida. And this includes pre-cut melons sold at some Sprouts Farmers Market stores, including the one in South Sarasota. Plus, India is moving forward with plans to hit back at the U.S. over trade. The country has proposed hiking tariffs on 30 U.S. products in order to recoup trade penalties worth $241 million. India said the tariffs are equal in value to U.S. imposed tariffs on their steel and aluminum by the Trump administration. The new tariffs target products including almonds, walnuts, and apples, as well as chemical and metal products. Tensions between the U.S. and many of its biggest trading partners have spiked dramatically in recent weeks. Your iPhone will soon be able to share your exact location data with 911. The National Emergency Number Association says more than 80% of calls made to 911 each year are from mobile devices, but emergency responders only have a vague sense of where to send crews for help. Soon, Apple will be able to calculate a caller's location based on data from Wi-Fi access points, nearby cell towers, and GPS. The company says the new feature will be available in its next iPhone software update coming later this year. Still to come in your Suncoast News, how a massive World Cup celebration may have caused a man-made earthquake over the weekend.
Designers do it with style.
Tell me what's going on here.
Why, you don't like my hair?
The Mark and Mandy Show. In-depth design ideas.
What is up with the tuck tape here? Let's cover it up.
Amazing beauty and fashion tips.
So Halle Berry has amazing skin. Her secret is coffee grounds. No.
Delicious recipes.
Today, I'm gonna show you a special dish that is sure to please that special someone in your life.
Watch the Mark and Mandy Show right here on your favorite channel.
Imagine a world filled with pillow fights, playgrounds, and the search for the perfect climbing tree. Every kid deserves that world, but 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger. At No Kid Hungry, we're committed to creating a world where every kid eats healthy food every day. We raise funds, we help families, and we lift up communities.
About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me
And me.
help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android.
This is awesome.
You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
My name is Luke Perry, and I am 1 million strong. I'm in the fight against colorectal cancer because I believe we can win it. Colon and rectal cancers are the second leading cause of cancer deaths among men and women in the U.S. Colon cancer is preventable. Know the risk factors and make sure to get screened. There are simple, take-home options available. Take control of your health. Screening for colon cancer isn't embarrassing. It can be life-saving. To find out more about your options, visit fightcrc.org.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
So good.
A little
so
tart,
good.
right? If you're going to have lemon pie, it needs to be lemony, right? So
Absolutely.
give it that extra little
That's
zing.
the whole point, right?
Yeah, but you know, with that shortbread crust, it makes it nice and buttery and really refreshing in the summer. Remember, if you put your pie in the fridge, it's going to pearl up on the meringue. That's fine if it gets the little beads of moisture, but it's still going to be just as good.
Recipe on our website, mysuncoast.com. Click on the dining link button. It'll take you right there. Judy, it's delicious.
Great.
Thanks.
Enjoy.
Scott?
Thank you both. In entertainment news, summer's finally here, and that means it's time for movies making mega bucks. But not all of them. David Daniel has some winners and losers in today's Hollywood Minute.
The huge weekend for Incredibles 2 meant a huge audience for the Pixar short in front of it, Bao, about an empty nest mother who makes a dumpling that comes to life. Domi Shi directed The Love Note to Motherhood and Food, the first woman ever to direct a Pixar short.
This is the most dangerous creature that ever walked the earth.
Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom continues to roar internationally. $370 million in box office bucks so far in advance of its U.S. opening Friday. It's a familiar phenomenon for Ariana Richards, who was 12 when she played Lex in the original Jurassic Park.
I was just enjoying myself so immensely, being on this set full of dinosaurs. I never even knew what dinosaur would show up the day that I was working, and working with Steven and everything and the whole team. But then when it just skyrocketed worldwide, that was a big surprise for me as a kid, to just be swept up in this whirlwind.
Our job now is to maintain leadership. I nominate John Gotti.
Not nearly as big, Gotti, starring John Travolta as mafia boss John Gotti. The crime drama debuted with just $1.7 million, and the reviews didn't help. Gotti scored 0% on RottenTomatoes.com. At last check, 23 critics had weighed in on the film for the site, and all 23 rated it rotten. Ouch. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Well, Pixar's Incredibles 2 had a great opening weekend, with Disney's issuing an unprecedented warning to viewers of the new film. It involves a scene with a villain named Screenslaver that features a series of bright flashing lights. The warning comes after some people posted concerns on social media that moviegoers with a type of epilepsy could be at risk here. There have been no confirmed reports, though, of any seizures observed after anyone watched the film. A former Suncoast resident has a new film in theaters right now. Rob McKittrick, a Florida native who grew up in Bradenton, is the co-writer of the comedy Tag, the real-life story of a group of friends who play a month-long game of tag every year. McKittrick is best known for Waiting, a 2005 film based off of his real-life experiences waiting tables in Florida, a film he not only wrote but directed as well. Finally, a possible man-made earthquake in Mexico City after Mexico scored what would be the game-winning goal in a World Cup upset win over Germany. The Institute for Geological and Atmospherical Investigations tweeted seismographic readings highlighting activity at the time and attributed the possible cause to celebratory massive jumps when striker Irving Lozano made the decisive goal. The post got more than 27,000 retweets, but neither the U.S. Geological Survey or Mexico's National Seismological Service reported any earthquake activity in Mexico City. It sounds like a good story, but you know, the real-life organizations maybe don't think so.
I prefer to believe it's true.
Yeah. You know they were excited.
It's a great story.
It really is.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being with us today. Hope you have a great afternoon ahead. We invite you back at 5 o'clock.